The cause of death was initially listed as natural. However, the medical examiner's office disagreed with this assessment after detecting tracheal edema during the autopsy. The case originated in a residential area on March 15th at approximately 06:30 a.m. when neighbors reported an unusual silence coming from a nearby home. The deceased, a middle-aged male resident known to have diabetes and hypertension, was found lying supine on his bedroom floor by emergency responders who had been called due to concerns about his health status. Initially, the scene suggested natural causes. However, upon closer inspection, several inconsistencies in the body's condition raised questions. Upon arrival at the scene, first responders noted that the deceased was positioned face up with no obvious signs of trauma visible on the skin surface. The absence of rigor mortis and livor mortis indicated a short post-mortem interval. However, the lack of any apparent cause for his death prompted an immediate call to the medical examiner's office for further investigation. The body was transported to the forensic facility, where a thorough external examination was conducted. Notably, there were no visible signs of physical trauma or defensive wounds on the deceased's hands and arms. A preliminary assessment categorized the manner of death as undetermined, pending autopsy results. The absence of any immediately apparent cause for death necessitated an in-depth internal examination to uncover potential underlying pathologies. Evidence collection, 120 words upon securing the scene. A thorough search was initiated to collect all relevant evidence without compromising its integrity. Forensic investigators meticulously gathered items such as bedding fibers, trace amounts of soil from under the fingernails, and swabs for toxicological analysis. The body itself yielded no foreign objects, but did contain significant quantities of blood in the nasal passages, suggesting potential internal hemorrhaging. All collected materials were carefully packaged with specific labels noting their origin, location within the scene, and time of collection to maintain a strict chain of custody. Laboratory analysis, 150 words, a comprehensive toxicology panel was performed on biological samples obtained from the deceased, including blood, urine, and hair strands. The analysis focused on detecting common substances such as alcohol, cocaine, opioids, and other potentially lethal toxins. The results indicated no significant levels of any tested substance exceeding established detection thresholds, ruling out poisoning or drug overdose as contributing factors to his demise. Additionally, histological examination was conducted on tissue samples from the neck region and respiratory, tracked to assess for microstructural changes indicative of traumatic injury. Microscopic findings revealed notable edema within the tracheal mucosa, consistent with mechanical obstruction causing hypoxia-induced swelling. These observations were critical in identifying a previously undetected mechanism of death. Timeline reconstruction, 150 words, by analyzing the collected evidence and applying forensic principles. Investigators reconstructed the sequence of events leading to the deceased's demise. Initial estimates suggested a post-mortem interval of approximately 3 hours based on body temperature readings. However, microscopic examination of tracheal tissue provided evidence of acute hypoxia, indicating that death likely occurred within minutes due to airway compromise. Further analysis revealed that soil found under the fingernails was consistent with that from an outdoor garden area adjacent to the home, suggesting a struggle may have taken place prior to death. This finding contradicted initial assumptions and supported the hypothesis of asphyxiation rather than natural causes. Expert testimony, 130 words, the forensic findings clearly demonstrated that the cause of death was mechanical asphyxia due to tracheal edema, which would not be evident without an autopsy. The expert witness would testify under oath regarding the presence of microscopic changes consistent with hypoxic injury, and the absence of any other plausible explanation for the physical condition observed at the scene. While some aspects of the evidence were conclusive in identifying strangulation as the cause, others left room for interpretation, particularly concerning the exact sequence of events leading up to death. Nonetheless, the combined forensic data strongly supported a conclusion that mechanical airway obstruction was responsible for the fatal outcome. Resolution, 200 words after meticulous analysis and expert testimony, it became evident that the initial assessment of natural causes was incorrect. The central finding of tracheal edema provided conclusive evidence that death resulted from asphyxia due to strangulation rather than any underlying medical condition. This determination shifted the investigation towards a potential criminal case involving homicide. The resolution highlighted significant discrepancies between early assumptions and final forensic conclusions, underscoring the necessity for thorough examination in cases where natural causes are initially suspected, but other factors come into play. The initial report had been based on limited information available at first response. However, deeper forensic inquiry revealed a more sinister reality that could not be overlooked. Close, 50 words. This case exemplifies the critical role of comprehensive forensic investigation in uncovering hidden truths about death mechanisms. Proper application of forensic methodology ensures that all possibilities are explored before making definitive conclusions. The file remains open.